Really? Really now? This month, guys, we have a brand new sync pair that is only obtainable with paid gems. I still can't wrap my head around it. DeNA, why do such a thing? Is this sync pair worth investing your paid gems on? Or are any of these other sync pairs worth your gems, paid or non-paid? In this video, we will discuss that. So with that said, strap on your seatbelts, sit tight, and let's begin this analysis video. Here we go. Yo, 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 this is Sol, also known as Espeon, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, Yardis Team Skull Grunt, and this is Pokemon Masters EX. And guys, before we begin, right now there is a feedback or October, feedback form or something that you can submit right now in Pokemon Masters Twitter/X page. The link is there. In fact, I'll be linking that in the description of this video or probably in the pinned comment as well so that you guys can click on it and tell DeNA all the horrible things that they've been doing to this game. So go ahead and do that, and while you do that, don't forget to hit the thumbs up as well as let me know in the comment section what you guys are telling DeNA. But the way this game is going, Variety Scouts, Mix Scout, all the limited time sync pairs, very few Spotlight Scouts. In fact, I'm glad that they're just back, but very, very few Spotlight Scouts, limited gem count, and then the events that give us a lot of gems before were already gone. And no Twitter rallies that give us gems, no Apollo gems even, and so many other things. You guys tell DeNA what they are doing wrong, and maybe we can let this game live a little bit longer, and you guys can stay a little bit longer as I try to endure my days of suffering playing and making content for this game. But with that said, guys, if you want to help me out, help the channel out, you can click on the join button down below and probably lessen my suffering spending on this game. Click on the join button and join the members of my channel. Thank you guys so much for your support, especially my almost 3-year members. Thank you guys so much, as well as thank you to the gifters of my channel for showering these people with memberships. Again, you can easily become a member by clicking on the join button. If you prefer not to become a member but support me monetarily still, you can go ahead to my coffee.com/splgum page, lower left of the screen, and help me out with my computer upgrade because my computer is slowing down every week. And yeah, I have to kind of change it right now so that I can continue making videos for you guys. But add that out of the way, guys, this video is all about discussing one copy. We don't have enough gems to get more than one copy unless you're extremely lucky, unless you spend money on the game, unless you have invested or have saved up so many gems for the last several months in order to just max out a sync pair. But we're just talking about one copy. So one copy of these sync pairs, is it better getting one copy or just skipping that sync pair entirely? So with that said, let's begin. So these are the sync pairs of this month as well as the timeline. And right now I added something new, which is the EX role and their roles, so that you can have an easy reference. Now, as you might see over here, Roxie is coming first, or Sygna Roxie is coming first, October 31 to November 19, their last day. So November 20, she will be gone. Piers is coming 2 days after Roxie, and then Ryuki is coming 2 days after Piers. So these three are ending on November 19, or rather November 20. And the banner that comes out after November 20 is actually this banner, which is Elio and Selene Variety Scout, which has an Espeon and an Umbreon over here. November 21 happens after November 19, so that means Ryuki as a Spotlight Scout will appear starting on Selene and Elio's banner. If you want to get, you know, Ryuki and completely skip him, you know, he's a permanent unit. If you want to skip him, you may obtain him starting this banner or other reruns that happen after November 19. Speaking of reruns, I have another video talking about all the Syncpair Scouts. All the reruns, you can check that out. Datamine in a nutshell, Syncpair Scouts. Link is in the description. Penny comes out on November 10, ends on November 30. Elaine, November 17, ends on December 7. And Elio and Selene ends on December 8. Last day, December 7. So there's a sync pair that I did not talk about. And that is the second one here. Red. Or should I say Red Mix or Mix Red. He comes out on November 1. And this is a complicated one. There are 2 end dates. In fact, I'm kind of confused how this works. From what I understand, he will be featured, so the higher chances of scouting for Mix Red is until November 19 or something like that. After November 19, some other sync pairs from his Mix Scout will have a higher rate. So actually, the best time if you want to scout for Mix Red is within November 1 to November 19 or something like that. Then after that, the chances of getting red is horrible. Low, low, low. Speaking of Mix Red, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but if you go to the message from the Pokemon Masters EX team, together with Mix Red, you will have some featured units or some limited units running with him. And that is Fall Phoebe. Well, Phoebe is running right now. What the heck, rerunning her so early? Like, immediately after she ends, she reruns. Really? Cosplay Steven is coming back. He also rerun fairly recently, as well as Variety Giovanni with Rhydon is running fairly recently. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure because that's what I understood from the message from the Pokemon Masters team. So if they're rerunning with Red, then I don't know. Maybe you can scout for them, especially for those who wanted Variety Giovanni with the Team Rocket Tiered Scout or Variety Scout. Maybe it's a good time to get it there. But one important thing. This banner is paid gems only. Paid gems only. And you can, you know, take it whatever way you want. But that is actually a very bad thing. Because, should I even explain? Pay gems only. How many people spend money on this game? Well, a lot. But how many people do not spend money on this game? More than the people probably that spend money on this game. And that means that you finally have a sync pair that will never ever be obtainable with normal gems, non-paid gems, until DeNA decides to change Red. Probably when the game comes to a close and EOS something, they change. Okay, you can have all the sync pairs you want. And yeah, that's the very, very sad thing about that. And also, I'm not sure how this banner works, but apparently you can only scout several times a day. So you have scout times 1, scout times 3, scout times 5. So you can scout a maximum, if I understood that correctly, 9 times per day with 3 different pulls. 1 single pull and 2 semi-multi pulls. And every single day you spend 900 gems if you want to pull all 9 times and get 9 scout points. And the maximum scout points you can get is... Wait, was it 9 scout points? Or I forgot, but you can get him, I guess. Maximum scout points is 300. But you cannot get 300 scout points when his banner or when his featured part ends on November 19 or November 20 or something like that. So, some things to take note of and consider is that people have suggested me, if I do not support this banner, to skip this banner entirely, and I have to say, you know why I'm playing this game and why I make content about this game. I've said this several times, and if I skip this, I'll be haunted for the rest of my life until the game ends. So, I'm sad. I hate this banner, but I cannot skip this banner. So, shrug. But anyway, guys, Roxie is a tech sync pair, and a lot of techs here in this month. We have Sygna Roxie is a tech, Ryuki is a tech, and then Elio and Selene are tech sync pairs. Difference? Well, Elio and Selene are tech with an EX role of support. Both of them are tech with an EX role of support. And then Ryuki and Sygna Roxie are tech with an EX role of special strike. In fact, there are so many striker EX roles in this update. There's Sygna Roxie, there's Mix Red, there's Ryuki, there's Penny. 4 of them share the EX role of special strike or just strike. Meanwhile, Red is a field unit with an EX role of strike. Piers is a special strike with an EX role of support. I would prefer tech, but oh well, support sync pair. You know, the best support, or rather, the best striker support sync pairs are those that can Mega Evolve, or those that can transform into other forms. So Sygna Serena is a good one. I'm not sure about Piers. I guess striker supports are not too bad. You get the double sync buff and you get that AoE sync nuke at the same time. I guess it's not that bad. Penny is a support with an EX role of striker. And I'm not sure. I think she gets a multiplier or some sort like that. But I have to recheck. But it's definitely not at 1 copy. And then Elaine is a support sync pair with an EX role of tech. And what I can say right now is out of all these sync pairs, at least on a higher move level, Elaine is the sync pair that excites me the most because her kit is quite interesting. But those are the timelines and the roles and the EX roles. I won't be bringing that often so many times. Again, if you get an EX role of support, you get that double sync buff. If you get an EX role of strike, you get an AoE sync move. And if you get an EX role of tech, that sync attack or that sync move will be 1.5 times stronger. Take that as you will. Alright. And if you want to know how many gems we can get, this video is the one you're looking for. Link will also be in the description. So, let's begin our discussion, guys. Sygna Roxie and Toxtricity. If you see this background image, congratulations. Sygna Roxie, if you're watching this as a premiere, comes out tomorrow. Happy Halloween, guys! And this is a tech sync pair with electric terrain. So you can bring electric terrain anytime by using electric terrain. Overdrive hits every single opponent with a 4 move gauge attack. You have a buddy move called Frenzied Sludge Wave. And by how you do this, how you work on this is that as an opponent, at least one opponent, has to have a status condition. Now, how do you land a status condition on the opponent? Well, you have to go to the next slide and use G-Max Stun Shock. Easiest way to make the opponent, you know, either poison or paralyze is to use G-Max Stun Shock. It will only hit one opponent, but every single opponent will be poison or paralyze. And you can use Max Ooze to raise everyone's special attack or Max Guard to give an ally a damage guard next effect. Now, Frenzied Sludge Wave, what this does is that it lowers every single opponent's special defense by 2 stat ranks. And speaking of Frenzied Sludge Wave, there should be like the AoE indicator as well as for Overdrive. Sorry, was rushing to finish that. But they hit both, they hit all opponents, and that they have a 10% chance of leaving the opponent poisoned. But remember, Frenzied Sludge Wave will not activate until the opponent, or the opponent, one opponent, more than one opponent has a status condition. So, unless it's sleep, you know, status conditions cannot stack up. So you cannot leave the opponent badly poisoned after leaving it poisoned, or paralyzed after getting poisoned, or something like that. And then if the field is electric terrain, the move will be 50% stronger. A poison type move will be 50% stronger with electric terrain. Interesting. And then you have trainer move Poison on stage. This will give you a move gauge acceleration as well as raise your special attack +4 and max out your critical hit rate. And then your Sing move, Rock Them Away Poison Beam, will give you a multiplier. The lower the opponent's special defense is, the stronger your Sing move is gonna be. And how do you lower the opponent's special defense? You use Frenzied Sludge Wave. Every single Frenzied Sludge Wave will lower the opponent's special defense -2. Now again, she is a Striker EX role, so if you decide to make her 6-star EX, that Sync move will hit everyone. And remember that you lower your opponent's special defense, AoE, with Frenzied Sludge Wave. So that Sync Nuke will affect everyone. And then you have interesting passive skills. You have Amped and Vive. It will start the battle with Poison Zone, and it will extend the duration of Poison Zone. So what does this mean? Your Frenzied Sludge Wave, your buddy move, will be powered up by Poison Zone and will also be powered up by Electric Terrain. That will make your Frenzied Sludge Wave quite strong, and it will hit everyone. Strong. Turbocharge 3 charges the move gauge quicker when there's Electric Terrain. Your speed stat is not that bad. Unless you're going to use Overdrive, you should not have a lot of issues with your move gauge because Frenzied Sludge Wave is only a 2 move gauge attack. It's Overdrive that's 4 move gauges. But, yeah. And then there's Hit Poisoned Opponent Attack Down and Hit Paralyzed Opponent Special Attack Down 9. So unless you're using some other sync pair to guarantee your poisoning on all the opponents or guarantee paralysis, by using your max move, G-Max, Stun Shock, it's randomized. So you cannot choose which opponent gets poisoned, which opponent gets paralyzed. So for all the paralyzed opponents, their special attack stat will go down -1 if you hit them. And for all the poison opponents, their attack stat will go down -1 instead if you hit them with an attack. So, that is actually the entire kit for Sygna Suit Roxie. And now, as 1 out of 5, you get some tiles that are in the Sing grid that are not too great, but you get a move gauge refresh for Frenzied Sludge Wave. 40% chance of restoring 1 move gauge after you use Frenzied Sludge Wave, which is only a 2 move gauge attack. Not much of an issue with this one. And then you get Unflappable, you will not flinch. And that's it. So, what can I say about Sygna Suit Roxie and Toxtricity? Well, Poison Zone extension is great. You know, we have Fall Iris, the one and only Sing pair before Roxie came out, that brings in Poison Zone. And it's irritating because Poison Zone ends quite not too long. And if I'm not mistaken, Fall Iris does not have Poison Zone extension yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, because the zone extensions, if I'm not mistaken, started with Sygna Suit Wally. And I'm not sure which one came first, but if I'm not mistaken, Iris does not have Poison Zone extension. Or if she does, well, then good. But this one extends Poison Zone. And it's bringing in Poison Zone immediately at the start of the battle. Yes, you can pair them up. Iris and Sygna Roxie, pair them up to extend that Poison Zone even more. But free Poison Zone at the start of the battle, strong Poison types immediately. And if you pair Sygna Roxie with some other Sing pair that deals way strong Poison type attacks, well, very, very strong damage at the start immediately. Then, you can also bring in Electric Terrain. So, she can deal Poison type damage. She can deal Electric type damage. Overdrive is an AoE Electric type attack, which makes her very helpful in terms of both types. And yeah, that's basically it. Her main typing, guys, again, is Poison. So if you're using your Sing move and you have that standard damage reduction, take note that her main type is Poison and not Electric. So her Sing move cannot change into Electric type. Her Sing move is only Poison type. And her max move, G-Max Stun Shock, is Electric type. So a little bit of confusion here and there, but once you get that, should be a fun and strong unit to use. So, let's jump to this very, very sus thing. I'm not exactly sure if I wanted to discuss Red first or Piers first, but since Red is coming out next, let's talk about Red first. So Red and Venusaur, if you see this image, well, Red is questioning. That's a question mark. First time I've seen Red with a question mark with this Mindscape image. Why? Why does he exist? Why does DeNA have to make him like that? So he has Razor Leaf. Very typical. Critical hits land more easily. And then Giga Frenzy Plant. And this can only activate if the field is grassy terrain. How do you set the field to grassy terrain? You use your max move. Max Overgrowth. One of the max moves is physical. One of the max moves is special. Take note of which one you use and what the opponent is more resistant to or weaker to. So the first max move, the one that Razor Leaf changes into, is a physical attack. And Giga Frenzy Plant changing into max Overgrowth is a special attack. So by using this, you get to turn the field into grassy terrain. And when there's grassy terrain, you can use Giga Frenzy Plant, which hits all the opponents, and then it lowers the opponent's special defense -2. Similar to Roxie. Lower special defense. But this one does not, have a chance of poisoning the opponent or anything like that. It just lowers the opponent's special defense -2, and it does not have that AoE penalty of cutting the damage if there are more than one opponent. You have Mini Potion All to heal all your Sing pairs, which is similar to the OG Red and Snorlax. And then you have Toughen Up to win, which you can use on an ally. Any ally. So you can raise an ally's defense and special defense +2, as well as give them gradual healing. You can use this twice unless you get an MP refresh, which is not available at 1 copy. And then your Sing move does not have a multiplier because he's a field unit. And field units, if you 6-star EX them, they will bring in... Come to think of it, this is the first field unit we have that is not a zone unit, guys. Because normally, field units, the last field units that we have, Ground Zone, Ghost Zone. What other field units do we have anyway? I think it's only that 2 of them, Giovanni and wait, no. There's also Thornton, which brings in Steel Zone. Red is not a zone unit. He is a terrain unit. So does he bring in grassy terrain when he uses her Sing move? I guess so. If you 6-star EX him, and you use his Sing move, his, grassy terrain after you use your Sing move will be extended. And you can continue using Giga Frenzy Plant, Giga Frenzy Plant, Giga Frenzy Plant. Passive skills are interesting. You have Kanto, Journey, Legacy, which every single attack will never miss. No worries about missing any attacks. And all his attacks and Sing moves and Max moves are gonna hit harder. And you can give him Critical Strike 2 to make your crits 20% stronger. Ferocious Entry 4 at the start of the battle, your attack and special attack plus 4. Meaning, you can immediately start off with your, your max move that is gonna be a crit, that is gonna be powered up by, either physical attack plus 4 or special attack by 4. And then, you have move on opponent, attack down, and special attack down 9. When you hit an opponent, their attack or special attack or both will be lowered -1. Which makes him a nice debuffer as well. So he is a kind of like an all-in-one unit. You have a Sing pair that can recover all. You have a Sing pair that can raise an ally's defense and special defense and give them gradual healing. You have a Sing pair that can bring in grassy terrain. You have a Sing pair that can lower the opponent's stats. You have a Sing pair that will never miss. But you have a Sing pair that you have to pay real money for in order to have a chance. I would not even say get, but have a chance of getting. You tell me if it's worth it or not. But as of the moment, one copy of him, interesting. Grassy terrain is good, but is it interesting enough? At one copy, you get Antitoxin, you will not be poisoned, and Light, you will not be paralyzed. But this is the very first pay-to-win unit. Completely pay-to-win unit of this game, which is very sad how this game is going this direction. Next, Sygna Suit Piers and Toxtricity. If you see this background image, congratulations! You have successfully obtained a new song key if you 6-star EX him. And this Sing pair has Thunder, a Sludge Bomb. Thunder has a 70% chance accuracy. So, if you make the weather rainy, it will never miss. But can you actually raise your accuracy stat? Let me see. So far, I do not see anything that raises your accuracy. So Thunder will remain inaccurate if you use Thunder without rain. Sludge Bomb, 30% chance of leaving the opponent poisoned. And then there's his buddy move, Sorrowful Echoes Overdrive, which activates when weather, terrain, or zone effects are activated. So either grassy, or rather anything. Grassy terrain, zones, electric terrain, poison zone, whatsoever. And at the start of the battle, guys, his passive skill, Low-Key Melancholy, is gonna turn the field of play into electric terrain and extend that electric terrain. And if you're wondering, he can also bring in Poison Zone by using the Show Begins. The Show Begins is his trainer move, and it turns the field of play into Poison Zone. It raises your special attack stat +2, raises your critical hit rate +2. So you can max out your critical hit rate, you can you can +4 your special attack, and you can turn the field of play into Poison Zone twice. Or if you pair him up with Sygna Suit Roxie, well, you can extend that Poison Zone again, and, well, let's talk about his buddy move, Sorrowful Echoes. Echoes Overdrive is normally a 4-move gauge attack, which is expensive, but if the field of play is Poison Zone, it's only a 2-move gauge attack if the field of play is Poison Zone. So much cheaper. And then if the opponent is afflicted by a status condition, if they're paralyzed, poisoned, asleep, frozen, burned, your Sorrowful Echoes Overdrive will be stronger by 20%. Now here's the thing, here's my complaint about Sygna Piers, is that his special attack stat is not too high. You know, if you look back at these Sync pairs, well, excluding Red, but if you look back at Roxie at least, his special attack stat 419, and if you go forward to Sygna Piers as a striker, I was hoping that strikers actually get higher offensive stats than the tech units. So yes, he is quite strong, he hits everyone, but then he might be limited by his special attack stat. Yes, you have multipliers, but Roxie does have a multiplier, 50% stronger when the field is electric terrain, and then can bring in that poison zone too. So, just my 2 cents. And then Poisonous Acceleration 3 speeds up the move gauge when the field is poison zone. And Piercing Blows, I guess this is his saving grace. Which, if the opponent has some irritating passive skills that lower your damage, this ignores all those irritating passive skills that lower the damage and also ignores the opponent's Endure effect. So that's Sygna Piers, and if you're wondering, no, he does not have Dynamax. Sygna Roxie has Dynamax. This guy does not have Dynamax, but he has a new Song Key as well as Roxie. He has Dauntless, your special attack stat cannot be lowered, and Thunder Move Gauge Refresh 3 if you go for a 1 copy and decide, you know, you can always get almost all, if not all the tiles of 1 out of 5 grids anyway. So you can get Dauntless and Thunder Move Gauge Refresh 3. But if I were to choose Sygna Piers or Roxie, in my opinion, Roxie is better because Poison Zone is rarer than Electric Terrain. And you can bring in Poison Zone and extend that Poison Zone. Do you need to bring in another Poison Zone? Yes, because Roxie can only bring in Poison Zone once at 1 copy. And Sygna Piers can bring in twice of Poison Zone with 1 copy. Poison types are relatively strong. You have Lucre, which is quite strong. We have Super Effective up next. With, I think, Virulent Toxin, there are other strong poison types that came out very recently. Pair that up with a Poison Zone, you can finish off the battle quite fast. Probably you don't need that second Poison Zone unless you're trying to build that Sync buff to make your damage way stronger and probably show off the numbers to other people. But Sygna Piers is okay. And we've been looking forward to a Piers with a Toxtricity for the longest time. So I guess this one is good. Also good outfit. So, but if you were to ask me which one I prefer, is it Sygna Piers or is it Roxie? I would say that I prefer Roxie over Sygna Piers because of the reasons I said earlier. So, moving on, let's move on to the next sync pair. This is Ryuki and Turtonator, and this comes out on November 4. This is the champion seat, champion room of the Alola champion. I almost said champion stadium. Alola. Oh my goodness. Elite Four. No. Alola Battle League. What? Oh my goodness, I forgot the term. What is the what? Wait, give me a sec. I need to think about this. Pokemon League. What the heck? Pokemon League. Alola Pokemon League. So, this one is a Spotlight Scout. And as I say, and as I say that I don't want to say, you can completely skip on Spotlight Scouts, but probably show some love to Spotlight Scouts so that DeNA will not remove them completely like what they did a couple of months ago. For more than half a year, there was no Spotlight Scout. So seeing Spotlight Scouts back is nice, but seeing Spotlight Scouts have generic sync moves is not nice. Fiery Spirit, Dragon Beam. generic sync move. You shafted Ryuki for 3-4 years, and then you shaft Ryuki this time again with a generic sync move, which is sad. Draco Meteor lowers your special attack stat, but your special attack stat will not be lowered because you have a passive skill, Dauntless. Next, Shell Trap. You will take a counter-attacking position. So I tried this. Yes, you get hit by if you are in a counter-attacking position, you still receive damage. But with your passive skill, Star Shout, which is, I think, the first passive skill that has an exclamation point. I don't know why they put it there. Which will, you know, if you have your tactics set to another one of your sync pairs to receive the damage, it will redirect the opponent's aggro attention to you. And then, because Shell Trap, you know, is a counter-attacking attack, you will get yourself a damage card next effect so that you don't receive any damage from the opponent. Also raises your special attack stat by 2. So, once the opponent hits you, you will hit all opponents with Shell Trap with special moves up next effect plus 2. So you hit all the opponents with 80% stronger damage. And then I think the opponents still target you. So keep that in mind. You have to use another Shell Trap, maybe. Or, you know, hope that the opponent does not kill you afterward because the opponent's aggro is still targeted to you until probably a couple more turns. But, you know, you have a way of surviving. If you're low on HP, you have First Aid 9, which recovers 90% of your health when you are low on health. So, he gets to recover himself quite well. And then you have Overheat, which is the fire version of Draco Meteor. Lowers your special attack stat -2. But your special attack stat cannot be lowered again because of Dauntless. You have a trainer move, Pour My Soul, which raises your special attack stat and critical hit rate +2 and raises your special attacks or special moves up next effect by 1. So I can see myself using him this way. I can see I can use Pour My Soul twice, get that critical hit rate to max, get my special attack stat +4, get my special moves next effect +2, use Shell Trap, and raise my special moves up next effect to +4 because Star Shout, and then hit all opponents with 160% stronger damage because of Shell Trap, powered up by special moves up next effect +4. So that is him. That is Ryuki. And he has a high special attack stat, 448. He's a dragon type sync pair, not to be confused because he has more fire type attacks than dragon type attacks. And he is a tech sync pair that, if I'm not mistaken, also couples as a striker. But as a striker, well, he gets a multiplier. The higher your special attack stat is raised, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. So he has a built-in multiplier. So I guess that's not too bad. 1 out of 5, you get Flame Proof. You will not get burned. Unbending, your defense stat cannot be lowered. But again, no need to rush getting him. But you can always get him on day 1. Or while his banner is active. With 7,500 paid gems, you're guaranteed 1 copy. You're guaranteed enough custom power-ups for him. To make him 6-star EX, you just need the champion spirits. And that is Ryuki and Turtonator, easily going down to the lowest in my list because he is a Spotlight Scout. I'm sorry. Next, Penny and Sylveon. This is a Pokefair Scout. This is the second sync pair, excluding your Paldean Eggmons to come to Pasio from Gen 9. So this one is a support sync pair which doubles as a striker? Is this a striker? I think she's a striker. Let me go back very quickly. She is a striker. Yes, she's a striker. And she has a disarming voice, which never misses, hits everyone. You have a buddy move, Starry Draining Kiss, which activates when you use any move once. So you can use disarming voice, and you rather when the user uses any move once. So you can use X special defense all or VV power. And it will deactivate when you use Starry Draining Kiss, and you can use this twice. What this does is that it returns all the opponent's raise stats to normal and raises your stats by the same amount. So this is fairly similar to cosplay Sygna, except that it only steals the stats of one opponent. So this is like Snatch, but you also recover 40% of your HP, plus you also deal some damage because of, you know, Star Draining Kiss, Buddy Move damage. You have X Special Defense all as a trainer move, and then you have VP Power to raise all your allies' special attack stat plus 4, raise everyone's critical hit rate plus 2, and gradual healing to all allied sync pairs. So this can only be used once unless you get an MP refresh, which is not available at one copy. But you can raise everyone's special attack stat plus 4 and almost max out your critical hit rate. Passive skills is interesting. You got first hit Fairy Rebuff down. So you want to use Disarming Voice, and Disarming Voice will hit everyone. Everyone will get a Fairy type rebuff, making your Fairy attacks stronger. We have Fairy type rebuffs. If I'm not mistaken, the one you're looking for is Sygna Sutwali. But Sygna Sutwali will get the opponent that Fairy type rebuff after you use your Sig move and use your Buddy move, if I'm not mistaken. So this one, first attack itself, Fairy type rebuff immediately. Mind Games 9, after you use any move you use on the opponent, their special defense goes down -1. Disarming Voice is an AoE attack. Every single time you use Disarming Voice, it will get stronger, stronger, stronger because the opponent's special defense goes down, 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 and down. Team Smart Command, if you use a trainer move that's X Special Defense All or VV Power, you will give every single one of your sync pairs special moves up next effect so that your next attack is gonna be 40%, 80%, 120% stronger. Nice! You have Clear-Headed, 1 copy, Stalwart, 1 copy, but that's that. Penny gives everyone start of the battle Fairy type rebuff, lowers all the opponent's special defense stats, can steal the opponent's stats. So if they get extremely irritating, unless they have Impervious, Dauntless, Headstrong, whatsoever, well, their increased stats will go down to normal, and then you can recover 80% HP by using 2 Starry Draining Kisses. And that's that. That's that. You can give everyone special moves up next effect, yes. A very ordinary kit for such a strong roster of supports in the game already. Quite ordinary with 1 copy. But there's one thing that's interesting about her, and that is she gets her song key. And it's pretty banger. It's not as good for me compared to the original, but it's still good. That Penny, you know, very dark, nice music is finally obtainable in the game if you get her and make her 6-star EX. But that is that. Penny is quite an ordinary sync pair in my opinion. And if you make her a striker, well, she does not get any multipliers for her sync move, at least with 1 copy. So, not really worth it making her a striker. Her attack stats, her offensive stats will become stronger. But that's about it. And now we move on to, for me, the most interesting sync pair in the game, or in this update, which is Elaine and Eevee. I wanted to hate this sync pair, but I could not, because she has quite an interesting moveset, especially with more than 1 copy. But let's talk about 1 copy right now. So, she has Swift, she has Protect, she has Quick Attack. And with 1 copy, you get Let's Go Together. it recovers everyone's HP by 10% and restores 1 MP of your quick moves. And what is your quick move? Quick attack. And then it raises everyone's critical hit rate to max immediately. Raises everyone's physical moves na up next effect and special moves up next effect. Wait, or special moves up next effect. So it's pretty randomized. And then that's it. You recover 10% HP every single time you use Let's Go Together. And why did I say every single time? You have 1 MP, but if you use your quick attack, you recover 1 MP for Let's Go Together. You use Let's Go Together, you recover 1 MP for quick attack. And vice versa, vice versa, vice versa. You can restore every single one of your sync pairs HP infinitely with just this pattern. There's one way to destroy this cycle if you are sadistic enough. Use quick attack 3 times. Use Let's Go Together. Can you actually? Use quick attack 3 times. You get 0 MP for quick attack. You have 1 MP for Let's Go Together. You use Let's Go Together. You get another quick attack. You use 1 MP for quick attack. You have Let's... It's impossible to destroy this cycle. It's impossible to destroy this cycle. I think. So, whatever you do, you can also have that half ally MP. Nothing will change. You can use quick attack. You recover 1 Let's Go Together. Use that Let's Go Together. You recover 1 quick attack. And so on and so forth. And continue this cycle. One interesting thing is hit interference 1 kind 9. Which, when you use Swift or quick attack, you will either leave the opponent flinching, confused, or trapped. And this is 100% chance of happening. And at a higher move level, I think it's 4 out of 5. Or was it 5? I think it's 4 out of 5. Which not a lot of you will do. And this is not the point of this video. But at 4 copies, if you use Swift, you have 2 chances of making the opponent flinch. So, think about that. AoE flinching, 2 chances. That's pretty good. And then first, use status Pokemon move HP recovery 4. Your status move is Protect. And if you use Protect, not only do you get a damage guard next effect, but you also recover 40% HP. First time you use Protect in a battle. Just in case. Oh wait. Yeah. Protect is not a quick move. So it will not recover when you use Let's Go Together. Take note of that. So the first time you use Protect, you get to recover 40% HP. 1 copy, you get Escape Artist and Flappable. And that's it. So, things that make me interested about this sync pair is that AoE flinching, infinite recovery, and with a higher move level, not only can she do that, but she can also give everyone regen, recover more HP, can lower all the opponent's attack stat, can lower all the opponent's special attack stat, can raise everyone's defense or raise everyone's special defense. Her options are unlimited with a higher move level. But with a lower move level like this, she's not too bad. She's a normal type sync pair. But she's not too bad. She's not too bad at all. But that is Elaine and Eevee. And we're moving on to the last 2 sync pairs of this update. Elio and Espeon comes out on November 21. November 21 is Eevee Day. And he comes out together with Selene. So, you have Confusion, you have Morning Sun, you have Psychic. Morning Sun recovers 50% HP, and if it's sunny, it recovers 60% HP instead. If it's rainy, hailstorm, or sandstorming, you recover 40% HP instead. Very ordinary. Mysterious Power raises everyone's critical hit rate +1, raises your own special attack stat +2. So, you have a sync move, Shining Heights, Shattered Psyche. The lower the opponent's special defense is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. And how do you lower the opponent's special defense stat? Well, passive skills. Weird World Every single time you use your Sync move, you will bring in Psychic Terrain, which does not stack with other terrains. Take note of this. Psychic Terrain Team Condition Nullification prevents all your allied Sync pairs from status conditions, confusing trap, and flinching. Nice. And then your Pokemon move, Sync move on opponent's special defense down to 9. This is how you lower the opponent's special defense. You attack the opponent. Every single time you attack the opponent, their special defense goes down -2. Same thing for your Sync move. Now, what I don't like about Elio and Espeon, as well as Selene, compared to last year's EV units, is that the last year's EV units are AOE. You get to lower everyone's stats immediately, and you lower probably more than one stat for all the opponents. Elio, Selene only attacks one opponent. I'm not sure, probably some of you prefer it that way, but I prefer AOE debuffs rather than single target attacks or single target debuffs. But that's Elio. Elio, ordinary. Attack an opponent, lower their special defense. And then the lower the opponent's special defense is, the stronger your Sync move. Every time you use your Sync move, you bring in Psychic Terrain. When there's Psychic Terrain, you will not get flinched, trap poisoned, whatever. And you get to raise everyone's special attack +2. You get to raise everyone's critical hit rate +1. And you have a chance where you can recover your HP twice. Nothing interesting, but that's for variety scouts like this one. How about Selene? Is she more interesting? Well, Selene, Bite, 30% chance of making the opponent flinch. That alone makes me like Selene better than Elio. Flinching is always good. I'm not sure if she gets Aggravation 1 in her grid, but normally these types of Sync pairs have Aggravation 1, but we'll see about that. Moonlight, recover the same exact thing like Elio. Crunch, 20% chance of lowering the opponent's defense stat -1. Plus passive skills. When you hit an opponent, you get to lower their defense stat -1. But Bite, lower the defense, make the opponent flinch, higher chance. Better. Dark Zone Team Crit Immunity, you will not be hit by critical hits when there's Dark Zone. Probably this is good for Legendary Gauntlet / Legendary Arena. Sync move, Dark Zone. If you use your Sync move, you bring in Dark Zone, which Dark Zone is rarer than Psychic Terrain. That alone makes Selene way better than Elio himself. Full of energy, you have your trainer move, raises your attack stat +2, raises the special defense of all allied Sync pairs +2. But take note, you cannot raise your critical hits rate this way. So you have to have another Sync pair to raise your critical hit. And that's Selene. You got Unbending, you got Unflappable, and your Sync move, the lower the opponent's defense stat is lowered, the stronger your Sync move is gonna be. So that is Selene. She good? Yes! Dark Zone, Infinite Dark Zone with your Sync move is always good. 30% chance of making the opponent flinch plus defense debuff is good. But like my sentiments with Elio, I'd prefer AOE debuff rather than single target debuff. But flinching is always good. So if I were to rate Elio and Selene, Selene will be much higher in my standpoint than Elio. And again, why did I give this slide first? Let's go to this slide first. So let's take a look at everyone right now. So Selene and Elio, I can say Selene is better. In terms of these other Sync pairs, it's up to you if you want to rate Red as the lowest, because low blow DeNA, that is a new low, giving us a completely pay to win unit. Or Ryuki, which is a permanent unit that you can completely skip. But otherwise, you have Roxie and Piers, which are both poison and electric types. Roxie being mainly poison, and Piers being mainly electric, Roxie has a max move. Piers does not have a max move. Roxie, start of the battle, brings in Poison Zone and extends that Poison Zone. Piers, start of the battle, brings in Electric Terrain and extends that Electric Terrain. But both of them can bring in Electric Terrain / Poison Zone also by demand. So both of them are good, but if I were to choose one among the two of them, I would choose Roxie instead for her raised stats. Plus, you know, I can always give her that EX roll, as if EX roll cakes are easy to get, right? But I can always give her that EX roll if I were to prefer AoE strike attacks compared to Piers. And Piers, although he has multipliers at higher move levels, he does not have a built-in sync move multiplier. Roxie has a built-in sync move multiplier. I think the lower the opponent's special defense, the stronger your sync move damage is already. And as a tech sync pair, if you 6-star EX her, 1.5 times stronger damage, and AoE with that Striker EX roll plus that Striker EX roll will make her attack and special attack stats even stronger. So Roxie is very, very strong. Meanwhile, Piers gets a support EX roll, which if it is a tech EX roll, probably will be better in this case, but he gets that support EX roll. Now, one thing, if you're gonna ask, we had a very, very strong poison-type nuker very recently in the form of Ariana in the Team Rocket Variety Scout. Is Ariana weaker or stronger than Roxie? Well, the answer is Ariana is stronger than Roxie in terms of nuking, but in terms of attacks, or rather in terms of DPS and everything, Roxie is better than Ariana. So, keep that in mind. So, if you want DPS, Roxie is the way to go. If you want Sync Nuke, Ariana is the way to go. But pair them up, Ariana benefits from special defense debuffs as well as other debuffs. So, Ariana is a very, very, very super strong, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, the strongest nuker. Probably not, but the strongest poison-type nuker in the game. Penny, very ordinary in my opinion. At a 1 out of 5 move level, quite ordinary in my opinion. I would rate her pretty low in my list unless you want her song key. Elaine, 1 copy, infinite recovery, infinite trainer move, infinite physical moves up next effect, or special moves up next effect. Can make all the opponents flinch or confuse or trap, and if you're lucky, always flinch. And then these two Variety Scouts suck. So, I do not know how to rate these guys. Elaine and Roxie are gonna be quite high in my list. Ryuki is gonna be low just because he's a Spotlight Scout. Red, it's quite low because of how evil his Scout is. Selene, probably a little bit high. Piers, high, but not very high. Probably 3rd, 4th. My second, I think this is my ranking, guys. I think my ranking is gonna be Roxie, followed by Elaine, followed by, well, either Piers or Selene, followed by Penny, followed by Elio, or Elio first rather than Penny. I think Penny comes first before Elio. Penny, then Elio, then Red, then Ryuki, or Ryuki first, then Red. So again, Roxie or Elaine. Elaine, then I think Roxie, then Elaine, then Selene or Piers, then the other one, then Penny, then Elio, then Red, then Ryuki, or Ryuki then Red. So that's my 1 out of 5 or none out of 5 analysis. And again, you're free to follow everything or can just scout for your faves. But if red is your fave, guys, and you want red, and you're a free-to-play player, I am so sorry to tell you that you will never get him until you get some paid gems. So, probably this will need a disclaimer unless you are scouting on a mixed scout. So, until then, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Hit the thumbs up if you did. I talk for 1 hour straight. I cannot believe that. But until then, subscribe, let me know in the comment section who you're scouting for and what are your thoughts on Mixed Red. And until then, I would like to give a huge shout out once again to the gifters of my channel, recently Eevee and Jeremy. Thank you so much for your kindness and generosity. And if you want to help me out, you can become a member of my channel by clicking on the join button down below or supporting me on coffee.com/SPLgum to help me with my computer upgrade. Thank you once again to my almost 3-year members, Shadow, Phil, and Alcin. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. My 2-year members, Roy, Luca, and Jeremy. My 1-year members, Iwis, Kosei, Tatsuya Gold, and Apsaras. And thank you to Pokefriendo for your continued support as well. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. This is Sol, also known as SPLgum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. You are this Team Skull Grunt. I will see you in the next video. Right.